Hello. So today, I'd like to talk to you about healing and different levels to healing. There's the physical, where you figure out physically what can you do to heal yourself. Um, Today, I want to talk to you about the emotional and the spiritual side of it, because what I found in my experience, you can do you can find all the best whatever physically to do to get healed, and unless you address every aspect, you won't fully heal, and it can come back like that, whatever it is, because you have to address the core wounds and things that have that the things that caused the illness to begin with. And it's not just physical. It always is tied in to the emotional and the spiritual side. Um, what I found was I had to look at things like any anger I carried, you know, for certain people in my life, for certain situations that had happened and that I had felt wronged, or I had felt, it wasn't right, or I hadn't been able to really forgive. And it wasn't that I needed to do this for anybody in particular but myself. And so I just had to look at it. I didn't even necessarily have to forgive. I had to see it and understand it and see where it came from and take it back down to what's really important to me. And it wasn't, I had to clear that out, because all of these different things build up in our bodies and create disease. And so, I had to look at my connection spiritually. How deep was my connection? How deep was I able to go into my core to really carry and hold myself? And without that, we're just kind of sort of empty shells floating around. And we all have the ability, we all have the capability to connect to our deeper and higher selves. And it just takes the desire, the really wanting to get to know who you truly are and what you truly want and what you truly love. And I told you in one of my other videos, I had to go back and look at the things that happened to me as a child, my mother dying, and how, even though my mother had cancer, and it wasn't, had nothing to do, I didn't cause or create her illness. She got sick by the time I was about 15 or 14, and died, just after I turned 18. But there was a part of me, and I had to, and I realized what happened is I went on with life and I was destructive. I had a lot of things happen to me physically. And when I looked really, really deep, I found that I blamed myself, even though rationally I knew it had nothing to do with me, why she died. That subconsciously there was a part of me that if I'd been maybe a better little girl, if I'd maybe eaten more vegetables, or I'd done something better, she would have fought harder and not wanted to leave me. And you see that there isn't a rational way to understand that. There's just an acceptance that that's how I felt. And to see that and really hold that little girl and really tell that little girl it's okay. Once I did that, I could dissolve that, and I wasn't carrying that anymore. You see, so you have to go through all these different things in your life and really clear them up, because they all create your diseases, and they create our bodies holding on to them too. And the clearer we can become, the more understanding we can to all the things that make us who we are. It can really, really heal us. So emotionally and spiritually is so important to really connect to all the things that have happened to you. And I don't care if to somebody else, they look like, well, that's ridiculous to be hung up on. It doesn't matter because it's what affects you. And if it affects you, I don't care what anybody else says. It doesn't matter. It's in you, and that has to be held, and that has to be seen, and that has to be cleared. And in order to clear it, you just really need to see it and understand how it's been affecting you. And you'll notice that, when you're not attached to it and you can just see it, you can release it. So I wanted to address that part of healing today because it's so important. All the aspects. I'll go into some of the others soon, but I wanted to address this today because it sort of came up for me. It was reminding me, on my journey, how I was really able to, and I had to go through all the different cores. I had to go through everything. I had to see everything, and I had to see the things that really, really hurt me, and shift them and see them for the gifts that they truly were. And I'm not going to tell you it's easy. It's not, because there's going to be some deep-seated things you're holding on to that you don't want to let go. But I want you to realize, for you to truly and fully heal, you have to go through this. You have to go through all of these things that are painful. But once you can see them and understand them and allow them, they're not nearly as painful. It's not looking at them where you're holding the pain, because once you see them, you start to let them go, and then they're not affecting you the same way. So it's a really important practice, and I wanted to share that with you today. And I love you all, and I'll see you soon. Bye.